28, number grade 2. Camas 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 28, number grade 2. Memory 2. Camas 28, memory 2. Camas 28, memory 2. Camas 28, memory 2. Camas 28. Never ran through. Camas 28. Never ran through. Camas 28. Never ran through. Camas 28. Never ran through.
Can we put this back then? Okay.
Playing peekaboo. She was hiding behind the posts and peeking out. Oh, that's funny. That's the good thing about being in the very back row. You can stand up and not read anybody's book. least I'm not sitting right here. Wait till she walks across the stage. That's gonna get really loud. It's gonna go. That was a stage
Class of 2017, if you would remain standing. To our visitors, if you would please stand for the performance of our national anthem.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight. set me free, so I can soar with someone, suddenly nothing would ever be the same. There'd be a new way to live, oh, a new life to love. If someone like you found me, oh, if someone nothing would ever be the same. My heart would beat and feel so alive. If someone like you love me, oh, love me, love me. Good evening, members of the community, faculty, families, friends, and graduates. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2017. My name is Camas, and I am humbled to be the senior class president of this epic class. I'm sure we're all feeling some mixed emotions tonight. Feelings of anticipation, excitement, maybe even some sadness. It seems crazy that we are graduating today. It hasn't even sunk in yet for me, and I can't imagine it has for you as well. But I hope you all take the time to enjoy the moment, as we will all be in the same place for the last time. We wouldn't all be who we are today if it weren't for all of the people who came here tonight to celebrate us. I would like to recognize those people. First, thank you to the families and the guests in the crowd for coming out here tonight to support all of us. All of our accomplishments would be a mere dream if it weren't for you. Second, on behalf of myself and my class, I am thankful for the phenomenal teachers in the Camas School District. You have guided us and taught us not only that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but life lessons that we will never forget. As Henry Adams once said, a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. If I had the time, I would name all of you, but I don't think you guys want to sit here for 3 more hours. I would also like to thank the people behind me for their work at and with Camas High School. Superintendent Dr. Jeff Snell, Assistant Superintendents Dr. Charlene Williams and Lisa Gressiff, School Board President Julie Rhodes, and members Casey Odell, Connie Hennessy, Doug Quinn, and Tracy Malone. Also, Principal Steve Marshall and Associate Principals Elise Anderson, Tom Morris, Susan Asher, and Brian Wild. Thank you for always working to provide the best experience for Camas students. Thank you to our amazing band and choir for the beautiful music for our ceremony today. Lastly, I would like to thank my classmates. Thank you for 4 years of laughter, cries, and good times. As I scan the crowd, I see so many talented, intelligent, and compassionate people. Together we make a historic class. I have no doubt that we will continue to make the world a better place with our talents. So this is a moment I've been anticipating for a while now. Writing and presenting a graduation speech is one of those hidden duties of a senior class president. That and organizing class reunions for forever, so I apologize in advance for the next 50 years of Facebook messages you're going to be getting from me. 13 years ago, we started a journey of education that taught us lessons beyond the classroom. We started off as tiny kindergartners with Hello Kitty and Power Ranger backpacks. We counted down the minutes until playtime. Then we moved on to middle school. We were awkward, some of us still are, race-faced, and just trying to fit in. Dress codes were challenged, they still are. And Axe body spray and Hollister perfume seeped through the gym hallway in an attempt to make the smell of gym uniforms a little less disgusting. Finally, we made it to high school. There was more freedom, more people, and more opportunities. We made it through that first year, despite our own doubts. Then we were sophomores, or wise fools. We knew the routine and we thought we knew it well, but in reality, we were still low on the totem pole. By our junior year, reality sunk in. We played a bigger role in sports, clubs, and activities. But as soon as the class of 2016 left the building, we were finally seniors. As seniors, everything was different. Freshmen looked smaller, the onset of senioritis started, teachers became mentors, everyone now looked up to us. So where do we go from here? As I've said before, our class is historic. We have set the precedent for future classes at CHS. As we go our separate ways this next year, I want you to remember these things. This is the beginning of the beginning. The time has come for us to take control of our own lives and be self-motivated to achieve our dreams. But if anything, I want you to remember these 3 words: good, better, best. Never rest until your good is better and your better is best. Whatever you're going to be, I want you to be the best at it. From here on out, be the best at whatever you do, because our futures are so bright. So bright, I have to wear shades. The past 4 years have boiled down to this day. We will be receiving our diplomas, and all the hard work of laughs, tears, and the long hours of practice, planning, and studying have paid off for us. We will be Camas High School graduates. I just want to remind you of our class quote by Milton Berle, a famous comedian and actor. He said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. We have already built so many doors for ourselves, but I hope we all continue to build them into our lives. It has been such a ride, and I can't stand up here and take all the credit for that, because that was an energy that came from all of you. I owe you, the class of 2017. Our futures are so bright. They'll talk about us for a long time. We did good. Not only are we the paper makers, we are the history makers. Congratulations to all of you, and please join me in welcoming Principal Steve Marshall for a few special words.
A few words, Kim. It needs to be truth in advertising. I have a couple of words here. And, I was hoping you'd take me seriously, but I came to today's graduation rehearsal and I found someone to put a critter on the microphone. So I hope the millions of viewers out there who are watching this graduation ceremony online, you have an enhanced audio experience, because the visual experience just got kind of weird. All right, well, good evening, and welcome to tonight's graduation ceremony for the Camas High School class of 2017. Before I begin my remarks, I have a couple of important announcements. The first, we really try to ensure that this event strikes the balance between being a dignified ceremony and a celebration. And so to help us maintain that balance, I'm going to ask for your help. I'm going to ask that you silence your cell phones and that you refrain from using air horns, especially when the diplomas are being awarded and names are being read. We want to be sure that every graduate's name is heard. Thank you very much. The second announcement, well, actually there's a second announcement and then there's a third. Second announcement. This is a difficult one. For those of you who are on the mezzanine, could you help me out? You're actually blocking the view of some people who are seated, and we do have an entire wall down here, so if you could relocate, you come down near the action, and that way we're not obscuring anyone else's view. And then the third announcement. This one's very important. It needs to be made right now. Welcome, CHS seniors, to your graduation. This is an accomplishment that has been in the works for the past 12 years, maybe 13 or so when you started kindergarten, and I hope you're excited about reaching the finish line. But first, you have to endure something that may feel like 12 additional years, and that is my graduation address. It is my final graduation speech as the principal of Camas High School, and admittedly, I'm not sure if it is my most special oration. But what makes my speech very special is the audience for which it was written. If not the greatest class in CHS history, then it's easily one of the greatest classes in our history. Now, to be fair, the class of 2018 is hearing this and is probably thinking, just wait. And that's how things work with legacies. The next people in line take success as a challenge. So nearly 30 years ago, I sat in a folding chair, like each of you. I was filled with a mixture of apprehension and excitement. And unlike at your graduation rehearsal, I had dry pants. And here I am years later, feeling that same blend of emotions as I delivered my 10th graduation address. Yes, I came in with one under my belt at Camas High School. So anyway, in writing these remarks, I experienced the same struggles as I did on my first graduation speech, and they are the following. How do I come close to covering all the content that needs to be highlighted? How do I include a message that's original and relevant? And how do I keep it short-ish? Okay, those are tough. So I made some decisions. I decided to leave the roll call of successes like our 14 league titles, 10 district titles, 3 state team titles, and 8 individual state titles to your senior class officers. Those achievements, along with those by DECA, Dance, Knowledge Bowl, Science Olympiad, and Robotics clubs, along with the array of impactful community service activities by student organizations such as National Honor Society, Key Club, and Leadership, along with the performances and awards of our art, band, choir, and theater programs, along with all of the unheralded personal bests of the 500 of you. In their totality, they're completely unprecedented. Some of this year's accomplishments have been equaled in past years, but never before have they happened in the same year. And some have never happened before, like our girls' basketball program going to the Tacoma Dome for the first time in school history. So, while your teachers and coaches and advisors and family and fans have played a role in this success, I have to give a lion's share of the credit to all of you, because you're the ones who set the tone in the classrooms and at practice, and you're the ones who have contributed to these accomplishments a little bit over the past 4 years, and a lot this year. You know, it has been gratifying to see the emergence of your alma mater over the past 9 years, and in particular over the past 4. Camas High School has transformed itself. It used to have little sister status, a likable kind of little sisters. And let me illustrate that. At my former school, Camas would come to me and ask if their student athletes could join with our gymnastics and swim teams because they didn't offer those programs. There just weren't enough participants. My response, sure, come on over here, little people makers, and join the thunder, okay? Fast forward a decade, and all three of those programs win league titles. Gymnastics goes second in state, and boys swim wins state. So apparently, little Camas blew up. Now you have big brother status, and not everyone likes big brothers. But I think it's exciting to see you guys have the confidence and the capabilities to do what you set out to do. Plus, it's fun and it's memorable to experience the rare privileges and opportunities that come with success, such as traveling state, going to Anaheim, Jecca, or Houston Robotics, or Dayton Science and Olympiad, or in the case of Rachel DeGette, Morocco, or to top that, Magnetos, you guys get to go to Pullman. Now, it is very important to realize that every little sister and big brother has a mom who organizes the household and picks up after them physically and emotionally, does a lot of work behind the scenes, of which there is little awareness, and for which there might be just even a little less recognition and appreciation. That's true probably in your homes, and it's definitely true on our campus. But in your case, there have been three moms that have kept you clothed, especially on sunny days, behaving like young ladies and gentlemen, especially at dances, and they have kept you on track for graduation. This graduation, not the one in 2018. So, as a result, these ladies have helped to prepare you for future success. One of the maternal figures is Susan Asher, who is retiring at the end of this year and will be relocating to a sunnier destination with one of our best substitute teachers, her husband, Larry. The other two moms have dedicated their lives to Camas High School. That's not an overstatement. They have been very important figures in our school's history, and they have been two of the primary architects in our school's success story. For the past 4 years, they've helped you to believe in yourselves and raise your expectations of what's possible. So for their 19 and 66 years of service, respectively, to you and to obviously many previous graduating classes, would you please join me in saluting Elise Anderson and Ms. Donna Cooper, who's not here. So yes, in a number of ways, this has been a big year in CHS history. But now, I need to transition my message to you. I've been in education for a number of years, and I've paid some attention to the keys of success. And I've shared a lot of this advice in previous graduation speeches, but never ever have I revealed the secret to success until tonight. But before I do, I would like to touch on risks and rewards of seeking out new experiences and new learning. So here's a question for you graduates. Over the past 4 years, some of you have joined a club, a sport, an activity that you've never done before, or you did something intimidating, like you went to a dance alone, or you asked somebody to accompany you to that dance, or you advocated for yourself with a teacher, or you asked someone out on a date. Please raise your hand if you've taken a big risk this year. Well, you guys have learned a lot of lessons by stepping out. And I hope you've learned it always turns out. And if you let opportunities pass you by too many times, you feel a little empty. So don't let that happen again. Okay, on to the secret. The secret's pretty simple, but I still need a visual to convey it. So imagine, if you will, an x-axis running horizontally and a y-axis that stretches vertically. So math department, this speech just got interesting, didn't it? The x is the do the right thing continuum, and the y is you do what you love continuum. When these two axes intersect, you have 4 quadrants, right? You have a positive area in the upper right, a double negative in these two, and then you have mixed areas in the upper left and lower right. I'm trying to reverse it for you guys. In the upper left, you're doing the wrong things and you actually like it. That's scary. Okay. In the lower left, you'd be doing something that you don't enjoy, and you'd be breaking the rules to do it. And that's not good. Okay. Continuing on to the lower right, you're doing the right thing but not enjoying it. That's okay, but not ideal. So where you really want your coordinates to land with some consistency is the upper right. That's where you're doing what you love. You're doing the right things to do it. And have you heard parents say life's not fair? Really? Well, they're right. Life is not always fair. And sometimes you're not rewarded for doing the right thing. And what's worse, sometimes people get rewarded for being underhanded and breaking the rules. However, you will be rewarded every day when you do what you enjoy. And at the very minimum, you're going to avoid a bad afterlife, prison time, or a punch in the face when you do what's ethical, what's legal, and what is kind. But that's just the minimum. Above that, you get self-esteem, you get respect from others, you get a good reputation, you get a good life. And that's what everyone here in this stadium wants for each of you. We want you to have a good life. I'm conveying these ideas in words, and here's what I feel good about. I feel very good about and very proud about that you had the opportunity to observe these words in action during your time in school, okay? Whether it's the last 4 years or the last 13. I think you're going to agree that you have had some excellent teachers, coaches, advisors, and you've come in contact with some awesome staff members. Now they deserve credit for being good people and finding a career that they love. And when they were hired, they got themselves hired. Because what we look for is personality and character. It's the personality that distinguishes a person in an interview, and their character distinguishes them in the reference checks. Personality is an amalgam of things like social skills, sense of humor, handling mistakes in stride, having interesting life experiences. But it also includes that sincerity, doing something that is interesting with purpose. That's what impresses people. In many cases, character is comprised of the things that some people think are little things, but they're not little things. They matter. Being honest, caring about others, and like Steffi Knight and her 4 siblings before her who have not missed one single day of school since kindergarten. I think the Knights drink airborne with every breakfast. You have to show up, and you show up on time, you say what you're going to do, and when you do it in a manner that makes your parents proud, You do it with integrity, and you do your job with zeal. So, this year's speech was a departure from the norm. It's definitely much more fun for me to list off your accomplishments and listen to you respond with your celebrations. For example, CHS Band. Are you guys going to forget your trip to Disneyland or Universal Studios this year? I gotta be honest, I'm still trying to forget Harry Potter's Forbidden Journey. All right, and those of you who helped to create Chemo Girl, 12th Night, Cinderella, are you ever going to forget the experience of taking a bow in front of a standing ovation? All right, and let's be honest. How nice was it to sleep in during those 10 snow days? And only having to make up 6 or so. And how cool is it to be the class that took the venerable Camasonian newspaper and put it online, that joined forces to create the first ever acceptance week, or to be the ones that inspired our mayor to name a street in your honor, Papermaker's Way. Yep, all of those things make for an easier speech for me. But you know all those things. You already know what you've done. And what you've done has been incredible. Just like all the incredible days you've given me to work with you over the past 4 years. Like the teachers, counselors, and your administrators, I've loved working with you and I've loved learning with you. I've loved cheering you on. I've loved shooting 2 pathetic air balls at our last assembly of the year. There was a headwind in the gym that day. Anyway, I've spent the last 4 years in the upper right quadrant, thanks to you. 500 unique, talented, and inspirational graduates. You guys have made me want to be a better person. And you made my job very rewarding. And I wish the same experience for each of you. I told you guys I love you back. Okay, that is why tonight I encourage you to go do what's right. That's why I tell you to go do what you love, to go on and continue to make history, to go onward, to go upward. And that is why tonight I encourage you, anyone, to go Papermakers. That's good. I was actually going to say, go fix our country. Would you guys please bring us back together? But to do something large scale like that, you have to dream big. You have to dream big even though you're from a small town. So yeah, you big dreaming graduates of Camas High School, I'm going to leave you with one final go, Papermakers! And on behalf of all these people here who love you, and all the people on the stage and off to stage right and stage left, I get to be the one to tell you we are proud of you and we believe in you. Good luck. Go get after it, class of 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Up next, we have our valedictorian, Jason Kim, and our salutatorian, Calvin Taylor. Jason is planning to attend Princeton University and major in either computer science or astrophysics next fall, while Calvin will be going to study either biology or bioengineering at Stanford University. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Jason and Calvin.
First off, congratulations, Camas class of 2017. We made it!
Hello, seniors, crying parents, texting siblings, and sleeping grandparents.
A couple of years ago, a USA Today article came out with the strangest team names and mascots. Number one on that list, the Camas High School Papermaker Machine.
Only Camas kids know the experience of trying to describe that black and red robot with rolls of paper coming out of it as it hobbles across the football field. And it's one of those experiences that makes Camas unique.
But past the mascot, Camas is indeed unique. Not because our school looks like an insurance building, or because the campus occasionally smells of carol cookie. It's because Camas has a community built on student involvement and pride in hard work.
Whether it's our sports teams that crushed it at state, or the award-winning drum production, or our school's top-of-the-line manufacturing of fidget spinners, Camas, fidget spinners. Camas seems to excel in every area. I mean, it's impressive that what used to be a small mill town is now able to go head-to-head with the best schools in our state and even the nation.
I'm not sure if it's our amazing teachers, our supportive parents, or perhaps some superhuman chemicals wafting out of the paper mill. But what I can say is that we are all very lucky to have spent our time here. As students, alone, we could not have possibly have done everything the class of 2017 has accomplished. Each of us played a part in this spectacular year, and each of us can be proud of our contribution to the class.
As we cross the stage today, our high school experience comes to a close. Many of us will go on to college and become doctors, CEOs, engineers, lawyers, politicians, or even astronauts. The smart ones will go on to vocational school, the military, or get a job and avoid racking up 4 years of college debt. But no matter what path you take in the future, Camas High School, with its amazing staff, has prepared us all for success.
High school didn't have to be the best 4 years of your life. These 4 years won't determine the rest of your life, but the memories, friends, and communities we've made here will stay with us for a lifetime. However far your journeys take you, don't forget this community, this school, and especially all of us. That way, when at least one of you becomes famous, the rest of us can sell your autograph for a few $1,000s.
Papermaker pride is what makes CHS great. Our mascot isn't just a box with paper towels coming out of it. It's a representation of who we are and the values that we embrace. Camas may not be a backwater mill town anymore, but the community we built persists to this day as one of the greatest in Washington State.
And with that, we transition to the obligatory list of thank yous to everybody we could possibly think of.
Thank you, parents, for putting up with us for 18 years.
Thank you, teachers, for also putting up with us for 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Asher, and Mrs. Anderson, for everything you've done for our school.
Thank you to the CHS administration as a whole for keeping Camas from becoming a lawless wasteland.
Thank you, Camas Band, for enduring pomp and circumstance for 30 minutes.
Thank you, College Board, for all of our testing woes.
And thank you, Michelle Obama, for insisting that my pizza crust at school is whole wheat.
And finally, thank you everyone at Camas High School for 4 exceptional years.
And also, most importantly, thank you, Drew Sturgeon. You're the real MVP. I definitely was not bribed to say that. Finally, good luck to all of you. We're sure that you won't need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason and Calvin. Now please give it up for the lovely Brooke Moultram, who will be performing What I Did for Love from the musical A Chorus Line.
That was beautiful, Brooke. Thank you for that amazing performance. Next, I would like to announce the top 5% of this year's graduating class. Please, when you hear your name, stand up and face the audience. And audience, please hold the applause till the very end so that all the names can be heard. Jason Kim, Calvin Taylor, Bilal Mansner, Breton Riddle, Nathan Chillian, Kathleen Chen, Yoping Feng, Eric Johnson, Michaela Canifax, Anish Prasad, Ravina Bowie, Jeffrey Fadlovich, Megan Bufaro, Mariana Bear Chapa, Sophie Miro, Jake Hansel, Vincent Wu, Paige Campbell, Megan Chow, Kevin Chen, Alexander Lee, Ganya Shimada, Christine Lee, Michael Boyle, Julia Coombs, and Tobias Pizzo. Thank you guys. All right. Please welcome Megan Chow, Senior Class Sergeant at Arms, and Teague Schroeder, ASB Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, Tanner. We would also like to recognize this year's Washington State Top 10% Scholars. This award is based off a scale that takes your GPA and SAT, ACT score tests into account.
Isn't it amazing that out of a class of 520 people, over 20% of us received the award? Students, when you hear your name, please stand up and face the audience. Audience, please hold your applause till the very end.
David Arcus, and Kemblam Aduka, Isabella Alexander, Hannah Audis, Megan Bufaro, Jacob Bedell, Mariana Bayo Chapa, Ravina Bowie, Michael Boyle, Eric Brainerd, Jared Brophy, Cindy Burris, Tanner Bush, Paige Campbell, Michaela Canifax, Ashley Carter, Nicholas Carter, Kathleen Chen, Kevin Chen, Nathan Chillian, Megan Chow, Sean Cronister, Spencer Cleary, Danae Clohesi, Courtney Coates, Julia Coombs, Brittany Cotton, Riley Curry, McCall Danis, Tyler Garvey, Alexandra DeCiro, Morgan Dunn, Jeffrey Fadlovich, Yoping Fong, Megan Finley, Rainey Floyd, Henna Franco, Andrew Frazier, Jonathan Frias, Max Gantar, Lauren Garner, Josette Hannah Gannon, Levi Gilstrap, Claire Green, Kate Gresseth, Maxine Guthrie, Samantha Guthrie, Tenzin Galnov, Samantha Hinkins, Jake Hansel, Rachel Higgins, Melody Holler, Kendra Horvath, Hayden Hunsaker, Trevor Hunt, Adam Jensen, Aubrey Johnson, and Eric Johnson.
But wait, there's still more. Aveen Cano, John Kelly, Jason Kim, Sung Young Kim, Mariana Kanish, Lily Kovalenko, Alexander Lee, Christine Lee, Alex Levine, Sarah Liddy, Winlin Liu, Bilal Manzer, Joseph Varag, Logan Miller, Luke Morbitz, Sophia Muro, Brandon Murray, Henry Myers Howard, Tenzin Namgil, Jonathan Newman, Christian Yam, Jeffrey Niket, Christopher Akimoto, Antonia Parrish, Brianne Pfeiffer, Luke Pipkin, Tobias Pizzo, Sabine Posma, Anish Prasad, Samuel Quinn, Brenton Riddle, Jonah Schmidt, Elizabeth Schwarzkopf, Rachel Shellman, Genya Shimada, Shimei Shola, Megan Smith, Rachel Smith, Adam Sobe, Mackenzie Spady, Michael Strickland, Andrew Sturgeon, Calvin Taylor, April Teams, Kylie Urbanik, Thomas Udis, Elizabeth Bader, Sarah Van Clay, Joan Farsick, Mark Fasad, Marissa Walzer, Emily Lawson, Anna Winus, Michaela Winston, Morgan Winston, Vincent Wu, Magnus Yoshimura, Madison Young.
Now, please give it up for Christine Lee, senior class rep, who will be recognizing Mrs. Cooper for her 66 years of work at CHS.
Hi guys. So now I would like to take a moment to recognize one of our most beloved staff members at Camas High School. She's the real MVP. Can I please get a round of applause for Miss Donna Cooper? Miss Cooper has faithfully served Camas High School since 1951. Yeah. For those of you who aren't that great at math, that's 66 years ago, so, she's had quite the career. Throughout the span of her fruitful career, Miss Cooper has worked diligently to further the educational advancement and physical well-being of each one of her thousands of students. She's had not only us, the class of 2017, but she's also probably been the counselor for our parents and even our grandparents as well. So that's pretty impressive. Although Ms. Cooper has enjoyed each one of her days working at CHS, she has finally decided to close this chapter of her life and jump into a new and much more relaxing one as she retires this year. As we all move into a new chapter of our lives, Ms. Cooper wishes to the class of 2017 that we will all be safe and good to ourselves and others, that we will realize our dreams and work hard for what we want and what we believe in, and finally, that we will remember to communicate face-to-face, because it triumphs, social media any day. Thank you to Ms. Cooper for this wise and well thought out advice, and I would like to present her with the Retiree Award. So thank you, Ms. Cooper. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to come tonight because she was overcome with emotion, but we'll be giving to her at work, so thank you very much.
We would like to recognize those who have completed the Running Start program and will be receiving their AA degrees from Clark College. When you hear your name, please stand up. Samantha Adcock, Luke Albert, Briar Anderson, Adia Ashford, Hannah Otis, Emma Booth, McKenna Burris, Danae Clohesi, Courtney Coates, Caitlin Daniel, Jordan Decker, Alan Derbyshire, Sarah Doyle, Lacey Dunlop, Courtney Estep, Elena Fisher, Jasmine Gerardo, Samantha Hankins, Bryn Jackson, Adam Jensen, Brian Kemp, Mariana Kanish, Anna Kubrina, Angelina Litvinov, Claire Martin Tellis, Joseph Maruk, Nicole McCallum, Marshall McIver, Cooper McNatt, Ivy Melcher, Annalie Norton, Joshua Pasquale, Hannah Petroff, Absidy Phillips, Kayla Pierce, Sam Quinn, Rabia Rabani, Jeremy Scott, Michael Sefurley, Natalie Shergill, Shaylin Unal, Elizabeth Bader, Anna Whitethis, Michaela Winston, Morgan Winston, and Magnus Yoshimura. Roughly 1.4 million Americans are bravely serving our country right now, and I would like to recognize those who will be joining them. Please stand when you hear your name called and hold your applause till the end. Nathan Chillian, U.S. Military Academy. Jeffrey Pavlovich, U.S. Air Force Academy. Jake Lambert, U.S. Marine Corps. Francis Lane, U.S. Air Force, ROTC. Wyatt Leggett, U.S. Marine Corps. Grayson Odell, U.S. Coast Guard. Ethan Rose, U.S. Marine Corps. Dylan Sampson, U.S. Army. That's it. This year we are lucky enough to have two of these students, Jason Kim and Calvin Taylor.
Now, Camas High School's jazz band will be performing The Incredibles by Michael Giacchino, arranged by Stefan Bula.
Thank you, Jazz Band. That song brings back a lot of memories. I would like to welcome ASB President Emma Jones and ASB Vice President Tanner Fogel, who will be introducing the Teacher of the Year, who was nominated by our graduating class.
Thank you, and Kim. Em and I have the privilege of introducing one of our favorite teachers, Mr. Matt Luke, who is our Teacher of the Year.
2 years ago, we started our junior year, excited and nervous and so close to being seniors, only of knowing of Mr. Luke from the class previous. Mr. Luke continually strives for every student's success. Mr. Luke creates an engaging classroom environment where everyone feels welcome, and a classroom where every student is set up for success. Mr. Luke challenges every student to strive for more and to become the best version of themselves. Fifth period has always been a highlight of my day these past 2 years, and I'm sure anyone who had Mr. Luke would say the same.
Mr. Luke is actually a Camas grad himself. He's a 3-sport athlete and has been teaching in Camas for 23 years, teaching at many different schools in the Camas School District. He ended up landing a job back in his alma mater, Camas High School. Mr. Luke's favorite memory from this year was coaching and winning the football state title. Mr. Luke not only teaches his students the deeper meaning of literature, but real-life skills that we have gained throughout the senior projects that we have completed. He is a great teacher, but an even better role model. Mr. Luke, on behalf of the class of 2017, thank you for being our Teacher of the Year.
Please join us in giving him a very warm welcome to the stage, Mr. Luke, our Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, Emma Tanner. Class of 2017. You guys are the 14th class to graduate from the current Camas High School. Some of you are part of the very first group of papermaker preschoolers all those years ago. You were also the 7th class to have graduation ceremonies at the new Doc Harris Stadium. I grew up watching games and ceremonies here. I got to play games and graduate here myself, like some of you in the stands today. Especially my fellow 89 graduates who have kids that are graduating today. I've been lucky enough to coach numerous football games here over the years. Yes, Lurch Eldred, we did kick a lot of butt here. But getting to speak at graduation in honor of the class of 2017 is a special privilege that I will always be thankful for. I've tried to be fair, honest, even when you didn't want to hear it, and respectful with you all. In turn, I felt like you treated me the same, which I believe is why we got along so well. So to those of you that sat in room 207, it has indeed been my pleasure. For those of you that I didn't have the opportunity to get to know, from what I hear, it was certainly my loss. In any case, the community of Camas has watched you compete in athletic events, perform in spectacular plays and concerts, deliver professional presentations, mature into young adults, and finally, graduate. It's been a great joy to watch you grow up both physically and mentally, enjoy all kinds of success and victories, painful to have to see you endure failures and tragedies, yet all while receiving an outpouring of support from your family, friends, and school. Now, not all classes get it, but over the last 4 years, the class of 2017 has earned respect by working hard, expressing appreciation of the support you received, and by remaining humble in a time when the norm of society seems to include having a sense of entitlement and a thankless expectation of rights. You have more than demonstrated an ability for learning about many facets of life and maintaining perspective while the world around you seemed to be enveloped in chaos. Now that's not to say that you didn't have your moments like all teenagers. And the last few years have provided me with many anecdotes, not all of which can or should be shared at graduation. Teachers quickly learned that it's best to have selective hearing and memory. But just for your information, you don't talk as quietly as you think you do. and the parking lot is not as private as you probably wish. So with that, I can't resist sharing at least a few of the things I'll remember about this year and this class. First, I'm happy I didn't have first period seniors. There's nothing like having Portland traffic in Camas every morning and then having to hear every excuse about why you're tardy. Never knowing when or if daily announcements were happening in the morning, in the afternoon, or at all. Fatigue Schroeder will miss hearing your voice in the sky. Grace Rouleau's daily greeting, Smiley Skyly Ramirez living up to her nickname. Jacob San Nicholas, as a freshman, he used to sit outside my room and throw things at my window at lunchtime. I went out to confront him one time. He stood up and I seriously thought he was going to kick my butt. 4 years later, he walked into senior English and I thought, oh boy, here we go. Instead, Jacob matured, he worked hard in class, and became a young man that earned my respect and admiration. Fidget spinners. Just fidget spinners. Trying to keep up with Brandon Murray and Samantha Guthrie while they provided some of the most intelligent insights of life I've ever heard from 18-year-olds. A presidential election season with no shortage of emotion. By the way, I tip my hat to the government teachers for navigating their way through it all. You guys earned your money this year. John Frias, Tyler McClellan, handed out office notes while bouncing the ever-present tennis ball. And the apparent authors of my Schloop nickname. Hannah Shield, Joey Emmett, Nick Duffy, Hunter Red, in the back corner contemplating caffeine addiction and broccoli farming. Nathan Butterfield liked the Chromebook so much that he took it home one night, causing me a minor panic attack. Maya Hazen said her brighter, sitting in the theater seats, arguing like an old married couple. Chris Okamoto's passion for film and his matching skin art. Having McCall and the 3 Dana siblings in class for almost a decade. Brad Hansen, Aaron Sawyer's love for Tom Brady and the Patriots. Dylan Ingram accomplished the rare feat of winning 2 state titles, 1 in football and 1 in wrestling. Congratulations, Dylan. Allie Sutton's ears turning red from being stuck between Mackenzie Spady and Claire Green's never-ending conversations. Listening to Alex Youngkin tell yet one more story about his escapades with Tyler Brown. Cheering for the unified basketball team at the all-school assembly. It was one of the coolest moments I've experienced at CHS, and you seniors were the leaders. All of the academic and athletic state titles. While there were numerous awards for school and sports this year, I had the privilege of working the last 3 years with 30 of the best men I've ever been around, pursuing a goal that had never been accomplished in Camas history. Through months of grueling practices, hours of studying film, miles of road trips on buses to Yakima, Coeur d'Alene, Sammamish, Tacoma, consuming numerous Subway sandwiches, these men persevered together to bring home the football state title. As the receiver coach, I got to work daily with Cooper McNatt, AJ Giesland, Christian Dean. You guys were and are my inspiration. To all the football guys, I couldn't be more proud of your class, dignity, and more importantly, the men you have become. I look forward to our reunions, wearing the ring, and reliving the glory days. My daily conversations with Big Mark. For 2 years, regardless of the topic, I could count on having great talks with Marcus Gray. And finally, any and all students that sat in the back row, their chairs rocked back, their feet up, as relaxed as you could be. Now, some of you will leave this town and never come back. Others may never leave. The rest, somewhere in between. But ultimately, the memories and friends you've made while in Camas will stick with you forever. As Coach Eagle says, these are the good old days. I hope you remember the fun and positive memories of CHS and are able to look back upon your days fondly as a papermaker. Whether you've loved Camas or are happy to leave it, the fact that you got to experience small-town America will remain with you for the rest of your lives. Either way, I view that as a positive thing. I have no doubt you are all going to experience and do amazing things in this world. But keep in mind, wherever you go, you will always know the paper makers will keep rolling along. Thank you for making it one of the best roles ever. Congratulations, thank you, good luck, class of 2017.
Every one of us has had our own experiences that have shaped our high school journey. Some are shared between friends, teams, but most importantly, amongst the whole class. We would like to share some of those memories with you tonight. You know you're the class of 2017 when
you win 3 team state championships.
You get another winter break from the 9 snow days.
Flipping a water bottle is the hardest task you've ever faced.
You get to listen to a whole album on your way to school because it took an hour to get there.
you're the last class to get to hear Mr. Marshall say, "Go Papermakers."
Your countdown to graduation started junior year.
You look at the Columbian and the Post Record and almost always see Camas High School on the headline.
You have 25 athletes sign into college to continue their sports careers.
Mr. Marshall, Mrs. Anderson, and Miss Asher have all had enough of us and said they're done.
Students forget to bring their backpacks, but not their hydro flasks.
Seniors pull the fire alarm to get out of class.
They took attendance on Saturday just so we could all be here and graduate on time.
When you have to worry about being attacked by a clown on the way to school.
You're the last batch of 90s babies to graduate high school.
You successfully hosted not 2, not 3, but 4 school dances.
The floor is lava.
You can't go through school without talking about politics.
You can't walk 5 feet without seeing a freshman with a fidget spinner.
You became the most historic class to ever come through Camas High School.
But most importantly, you know you're the class of 2017 when you come to graduation. See your family, friends, motivators, the people who have helped you get here today. For one last time, we will all be together, collectively, as the class of 2017. I hope you enjoy the moment and take the time to soak it all in. Now, I would like to present Superintendent Dr. Jeff Snell to the stage.
Well, hello, Papermakers. You are almost arrived as the graduating class of 2017. I want you to know how proud our school district is of every one of you. Each of you has a unique story of making it to this day. All of your stories include meeting the graduation requirements of Camas High School in the state of Washington, and much, much, much more. They are stories of persistence, stories of compassion and care. They are stories of seeing the world with optimism and hope. They are stories of great joy and sometimes challenging pain. Your stories inspire us and give us great hope for our future. We want you to continue to be learners and continue to be curious about what can be instead of what cannot. Thank you for sharing these first few chapters of your story with us. Our best to you as you write the rest of your story. And now, on behalf of the Camas School District, the Camas High School staff, and this wonderful community, it is my privilege to present the class of 2017 to Board President Julie Ross.
Thank you for allowing us to share this day with you. It's our distinct pleasure to be here. Thank you for all of those people who have supported this class to help them achieve this goal. On behalf of the Camas School Board, I accept this class of 2017 as having fulfilled all the requirements necessary for a diploma from Camas High School.
Logan Anthony Manley. James Maxwell Kosek. Adam Golick. Bryn Jackson. Annalie Paige Norton. Elizabeth Bader. Jared J.T. Gary Tumabau. Noah Austin Milbert. Nicholas Jonathan Singer. Chapin William Wisdom Circling. Mason Ellis. Rachel Higgins. Brooke Moultram. Michaela Winston. Morgan Winston. Calvin Taylor. Jason Kim. Isabella Swanson. T. Anna Schroeder. Courtney Easton. Emma Kathleen Jones. David Arthus. Tanner Ogle. And Pendulum Aduka. Megan Chow. Christine Lee. Rachel Liu. Alexis Royal. Brienne Elizabeth Pfeiffer. Kelsey Marie Ackerman. Megan Barbara Finley. Andrew Frazier. Hannah Christina Franco. Madeline Harrison. Nicole Short. Tristan Cameron. Hugh Chase Colson. Jonathan Lewis Newman. Jeffrey McKetts. Brian Wilson. Rachel Emerson. Darren Michael Canute Jean-Long. Henry Myers Power. Jackson Guthrie. Samantha Guthrie.
Ethan Eric Brown. Shannon Renee Unell. Hannah Otis. Sophie Nero. Allie Hancock. Ravina Bowie. Hannah Markey. Sabine Postma. Julia Coombs. Kelly Johnson. Eric Johnson. Michaela Canapax. Francis Lane. Bilal Ahmed Manzir. Anish Prasad. Kendra Horvath. Charlotte Burton. James Neary. Jeffrey Paul Pavlovich. Vincent Rush Wu. William Bazan. Jesus Espinosa. Dylan Mackenzie Sampson. Shanae Shola. Genya Shimada. Kate Bressett. Elias Bashir. Brennan Smith. Tobias Izzo. Petra Campbell. Natalie Schultes. Megan Cafero. Brenton Riddle. Wyatt Lewis. Elijah Manfredi. Rachel Duquette. Yo Ping Pong. Kathleen Chin. Isabella Francis Alexander. Sarah Lindsay Liddy. Melody Haller. Jonathan Jesus Andrew Stanley. Warren Wolfgang Wise. Justin Plum. Alyssa Caitlin Brown. Carmen Lowe.
Sarah Doyle. Briar Anderson. Hayden Kane. Spencer Cleary. Jack Spadolini. Eric Higginson. Luke Alberts. Chelsea Renee Logus. Elizabeth Ann Schwarzkopf. Shelby Grace Aldrich. Emily Lou Parkinen. Carson Raquel Quaid. Hannah Abby Zimmerman. Amy Nicole Osterhage. Allie Cade Sutton. Alexander Lee. Davis Sy. Michael Boyle. Jake Hansel. Noah Strickler. Nathan Chillian. Jonah Tucker Schmidt. Clayton Kenneth Lizzie. Marissa Walser. Tyler Zweiger. Kevin Chen. Eric Rayner. Max Douglas Hillsborough. Danny Wing III. Alec Brent Sheldon. Trevor Andrew Zweiger. Robert Jack Colby. Dakota John Daniel White. Sarah Brooke Davidson. Ariana Eden Rogers. Jasmine Rose Gerada. Magnus Yoshimura. Shelby Gano. Rachel Smith. Ivy Melcher. Mariana Enriqueta Bayer-Chapa. Jessica Nicole Bass. April Elizabeth Keens. Emily Elizabeth Wasson. Rainey Madison Floyd. Stephanie Camille Knight.
Nicole McCallum. Hannah Fair. Sean Fair. Jonah Goldner. Maxwell Croson. Sam Stremmel. Daniel Webb. Tiana Jean Bevins. Shania Elizabeth Allen. Reagan Mackenzie Moss. Ava Alice Rousseau. Samantha Riley Oxford. Rachel Bennett. Jillian Taylor Lunt. Erin Taylor Sinclair. Alice Hampton. Jalen Harper. Revan Peppers. James Orfield. Jonathan Frias. Tyler McClellan. Benjamin Kuzar. Caleb Eldridge. Cole Bose. John Kelly. Anthony Maton. Nicholas Duffy. Lauren Johnston. Bradshaw. Adam Jensen. Jacob You Don't. Leah Workman. Delaney Grace Lopez. Morgan Nicole Cannon. Alyssa Brianne Tomasini. Amanda Camille Del Moro. Alexis Lynn Sabatini. McKenna Drake Neely. Brittany Lane Cotton. Isabel Mariah Hyatt. Sophie Marie Eagle. Claire Elizabeth Stanford. Karina Diane Tiemann. Amy Lynn Kellogg.
Vinny Gennaro. Alex Levine. Levine Cana. Louis Max Cantar. Drew Sturgeon. Elena May Fisher. Monique Malott. Colin Anthony Cookta. Joseph Matthew Emmons. Spencer Sorensen. Brian Dwight Newland. Alec Lewis Seitz. Hunter Hill. Tyler Brown. Ryan Kreider. Jeremy Scott. Jack Anderson. Elias Besson. Sophia Shabizaman. Brittany Anthony. Ryan Mayfield. Faith Mitchell. Madison Taylor Ray. Emily Rose Potts. Haley Ray Erickson. Mariah Rose Thompson-Haas. Alicia Heilman. Sylvia Rose Cochran. Lindsay Marie Hale. Lily Margaret Kohler. Aubrey Catherine Johnson. Anthony Phillips. Kayla Alyssa Pierce. Danae Closey. Sydney Joanne Randolph. Sunyan Melanie Kim. Winland Liu. Journey Eugene. Lisa Leha. Tenzin Galno. Alan Gwendolyn. Sabrina Ann Lamotha. Sydney Ann Burris. Callie Mae Johnson. Riley Kincaid Curry.
Tyler Darby. Toshikova. Allie Brown Session. Michael Gregory Matthews. Cooper Pierce McNatt. Ellie Ray Echevarria. Marley Ann Francis LaFleur. Nicole Olivia Danis. Hannah Michelle Tay. Ryan Lawrence Kemp. Christian Michael Belberg. Ethan Mark Sturvell. Dylan Jean Ingram. Cody Parker Jackson. Dakota Carl Naberkowski. Grayson Henry Odell. Emma Grace Ware. Tanner Howington. Jack Coletto. Michael Superly. Travis Edmondson. Alyssa Amundsen. Lucas Abrahamson. Lucas Henry Denon. Gavin Sung. Alyssa Nicole Dummer. Hannah Merritt Petroff. McKenna Shane Burris. Michael Friesen. Ethan Kenneth Rose. Alan Wayne Davis III. Andrew Jason Stock. Bailey Sanchez. Robert Ford Carter. Jeffrey Liao. Olivia Nelson. Alyssa Conley. Trevor Hunt. Antonia Parrish. Nicole Edwards. Gage Fitch. Madeline Grace Fabia.
What are all those students that
Chandler Piper. Alex Lippard. Christian Liam. Samuel Christopher. Tanner Bush. Cedric Reiner. Jared Brophy. Luke Moravitz. Emma McKercher. Joshua Sale. Arib Hassan. Maxwell Unia. Ronnie Duku. Luke Pitkin. Michael Strickland. Flavia Ravani. Adia Ashford. Deani Leonard. Arlia Stewart. Madison Kohler. Rachel Shellman. Brittany Nugent. Morgan Taylor Dunn. Dan Paulson. Trevor Chester. Jack Barr. Tanner Amos. Christopher Okamoto. Philip Watson. Alan Derbyshire. Matthew D. Willis. Chloe Kathleen Dunn. Dylan Christine Leonard. Carson Robert Martin. Adam Lee Survey. Siobhan Chung. Grace Rouleau. Sally Ramirez. Kristen Rockaloo. Margaret Ann McPherson. Michelle Gazelka. Hannah Clayton. Anna Edwards. Talana Parks. Aidan Montoya. Samuel Quinn.
Nampio. Erin Sue Harold. Kiara Lene Meyer. Sarah May Weekly. Raylina Edding. Alexis Baker. Cassandra Lynn Sherpick. Sarah Nicole Van Flake. Kylie McKenna Urbanic. Joan Marson. Maggie Short. Marcus Gray. Bradley Hanson. Anthony Gerardo. Wyatt Leggett. Jeffrey Rule. Scott McNeely. Claire Adams. Hunter Ray. Morgan Roggeman. Mary Ashley Rice. Eliza Soriano. Hannah Guillen. Alexandra Nicole DeSiro. Madison Ann Young. Miranda Austin. Leah Katakutan. Michael Coleman. Igor Cunning. Adam Christopher Worms. Nathan Allen Butterfield. Alec Ray Smith. Cole James Leonard. Isaac Samuel Ringering. Alyssa Deanne Brown. Sarah Caston. Nathan Wren. Seth Gilbert. Benjamin Carrata. Jacob Lambert. Marshall McIver. Andrew Gunther. Jeremy Tellens. Sean Murray. Trevor Jerslow. Kate Lucy.
Louis Avino. Nathan Edwards. Joshua Soren Olson. Joseph Muradigan. Nicholas Murray. Ashton Harris. Spencer Coons. Austin Trout. Taylor Rowland. Michael Lopez Sosa. David Lopez. Brendan Taylor. Brandon Murray. Shannon Wells Moran. Joshua Musa Beatty Ross Jr. Alexis Ann Moore. AJ Eastman. Logan Miller. Dominic Neil Kaliki Stevens. William Latanzi. Sean Stockwell. Samantha Christine Hankins. Jeannie Elizabeth Miles. Emily Renee Picard Sprinkle. Aaron Noriega. Mark Kassak. Hayden Hanna. Justin Flint. Ashley Carter. Arena Rude. Ellie Metzner. Aria Connick. Emma Marie Booth. Jocelyn Nicole Lee. Olivia Megan Dentz. Maxwell Cuzzo. Claire Green. Mackenzie Spady. Hayden Hunsaker. Levi Gilstrap. Riley Truitt. Autumn Brown. Robin Alyssa Kramer. Allison Davis. Sydney Brianna Greenemeyer. Taylor Truck. Dominic Nichols.
McKenna Bush. Elisha Moore. Luke Piper. Isaac Leonard. Jack Little. Joseph Tudor. William Lingo. Chad Stoner. Nathan Portinet. Abigail Eloise Tackett. Samantha Victoria Adcock. Natalie Rose Shermill. Lauren Annie Garner. Anne Nicole Wycus. Alexis Nicole Groff. Emily Henry. Shelby Lynn Chartrand. McKenna Ashley Ryan. Courtney Lene Coates. Annabella Baird Bale. Grace Leanne Anderson. Thomas Butis. Aaron Sawyer. Evelyn Litvinov. Marianne Kanesh. Christina Zapargaya. Laura Kucherov. Anna Kabrina. Vanessa Tubakova. Lily Kovalenko. Jessica Aninko. Center Bella. Reese Moses. Mason Changway. Ewan Parker. Madeline White. Cameron Golzo. Jalea Olivia Roche Cooper. Claire Martin Ellis. Hannah Shield. Abigail Lightfoot. Megan Smith. Ryan Tayez. Camille Karasev. Lacey Bree Dunlop. Brandon Lee Cady. Jordan Alloy Decker. Brandon Castleberry. Christopher Merritt. Gavin Johnson. Natalie Turnbow. And Lindsay Merritt.
Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Class of 2017, please join us in moving your tassels to the left. Congratulations, class of 2017. We are now CHS graduates.
right, seniors, before you go, me and Tanner have one more thing to say. I believe that we are done. I believe that we are done. I believe that we are done. I believe that we are done.